Last March, Doris from Stockport had a leaking roof, a broken boiler, and a stairlift she could barely use. 6 months later, every one of those problems was fixed. Cost to Doris? Zero. Not a penny out of her pension. Her neighbour Margaret across the road paid £8,400 for nearly identical work. The difference? Doris knew about schemes the council never mentioned. Number 19 on this list has been quietly removed from 3 council websites since January. Number 7 has helped over 240,000 pensioners, but most have never heard of it. And number 2? Citizens Advice staff have been told not to mention it unless the caller asks directly. These are not loopholes. They are not scams. They are perfectly legal council schemes that get buried because they cost the council money to deliver. Before we start, hit subscribe. Let us count down the 25 tricks British pensioners use to get free home repairs in 2026. Number 25. The Handy Person Scheme. Almost every council in England runs one, but almost none advertise it. Tucked away inside something called a home improvement agency, the Handy Person service sends a fully insured tradesman to your door for jobs your husband used to do before his hip went. Bleeding radiators, fitting grab rails, changing smoke alarm batteries, replacing tap washers, even putting up curtain rails. Most schemes cost nothing for the labour if you are over 60 or receiving any disability benefit. You pay only for materials, and even those are often free under £30. A Bristol pensioner saved an estimated £840 in call-out fees last year just by using the service every fortnight. The trick? You do not have to wait for something to break. Phone Adult Social Care, ask for the Handy Person scheme by name, and they have to refer you. Plumbers charge £85 just to walk through your door. This is a tradesman, on call, for nothing. Number 24. Council tax reduction. Forget what the leaflet says. If you are a pensioner on Pension Credit Guarantee credit, you are entitled to a 100% council tax reduction. Not 25%, not the single person discount. The whole bill, wiped. The trouble is the council writes to you in April with the new bill, and nowhere on that letter does it tell you to apply. You have to ask. Even pensioners not on pension credit can apply on grounds of low income, and many qualify for 75% off without realising. The savings are enormous. The average Band C council tax bill in 2026 sits near £2,150. Wipe that off and you have just funded a winter's worth of repairs. The form takes 20 minutes. Most pensioners never see it because the council prefers you do not. Number 23. The pension credit trigger. This one is the master key, and the government knows it. Roughly 880,000 eligible pensioners in Britain do not claim pension credit because they think they have too much in savings or they own their home. Both myths. You can own your house outright and still qualify. You can have £10,000 in the bank and still qualify. Even £1 a week of pension credit unlocks the warm home discount, free TV licence over 75, cold weather payments, full council tax reduction, NHS prescription costs covered, and a backdated lump sum of up to 3 months. One Cheshire widow applied last autumn and received £1,840 in arrears, plus £62 a week going forward. The form is online, takes 35 minutes, and the pension service runs free phone support on 0800 99 1234. Number 22. Cold weather payments. When the temperature in your postcode area drops to 0 or below for 7 consecutive days, the DWP pays you £25 automatically. No application, no phone call, it just lands in the bank account where your pension credit is paid. The catch? You only get it if you are receiving pension credit, income support, or income-related ESA. This is exactly why number 23 matters. In the bitter winter of 2024 to 2025, some pensioners in Aberdeenshire received £150 in cold weather payments alone, enough to cover a service call on a boiler. Most southerners will get nothing. Most northerners will get something. Check your postcode at the gov.uk cold weather payment lookup. It is the most genuinely automatic help the government provides, and nobody seems to know it exists. Number 21. British Gas Energy Trust. Here is the bit that makes councils nervous. The British Gas Energy Trust is a registered charity that hands out grants of up to £2,000 for energy debt and essential household appliances. You do not have to be a British Gas customer. Not now, not ever. The Trust takes applications from anyone struggling, regardless of supplier. The money has paid for replacement cookers, fridges, washing machines, and in some cases, even boilers, when other schemes failed. Average grant in 2025 was £1,247. The application is online, you upload 3 months of bank statements, and a decision comes in about 4 weeks. EDF, Octopus, OVO and Scottish Power all run similar trust funds with similar payouts. A Cardiff pensioner stacked grants from 2 suppliers in 2024 and replaced every white good in her kitchen for nothing. Number 20. ECO4 insulation. The energy company obligation has been running quietly since 2013, and the current version, ECO4, pays for cavity wall insulation, loft insulation, underfloor insulation, and in some cases, full external wall insulation, completely free for pensioners who meet the criteria. The criteria are looser than people think. If you are on pension credit, universal credit, or live in an EPC band D, E, F or G property and have a low household income, you are likely in. The works are carried out by installers paid directly by your energy supplier. The whole job, scaffolding included, can be worth £14,000. A Sunderland couple had their entire 1960s semi-externally insulated last spring under ECO4 and their gas bill halved overnight. The trick is phoning the supplier rather than waiting for a leaflet. Number 19. Warm home discount. First pattern break. Here is where it gets interesting. The warm home discount is £150 knocked off your electricity bill every winter between October and March. Almost every major supplier offers it. The criteria changed in 2022 and again in 2025, and that change is precisely why councils have stopped mentioning it. Under the new core group rules, eligibility is determined automatically by matching DWP data to property records. If your house is flagged as a high energy cost property and you receive certain benefits, the discount lands without you applying. But, and this is the bit they hide, if you are not flagged automatically, you can still apply directly to your supplier under the broader group scheme. Most pensioners assume the silence means they do not qualify. Many do. A 10-minute phone call to your supplier in October could put £150 straight into your meter, enough to cover an electrician's visit to rewire that dodgy plug socket. Number 18. Household Support Fund. Second pattern break. Controversy incoming. Every single English council receives a slice of the Household Support Fund from central government, and every council is given enormous discretion over how to spend it. Some councils spend it on food vouchers, others on energy top-ups. A handful, the clever ones, use it to fund emergency home repairs for vulnerable residents. Birmingham Council quietly paid for 412 boiler repairs and 89 roof patch-ups under HSF in 2024 alone. The fund is rarely advertised because every council knows that if word gets out, demand overwhelms supply within days. To access it, you ring the council's welfare team directly and use the magic phrase, "I would like to apply for Household Support Fund assistance for an emergency home repair." Do not say, "grant." Do not say, "help with bills." Say those exact words. Officers are trained to redirect vague inquiries elsewhere. A specific request gets you onto the correct internal form. Number 17. Local welfare assistance. Separate from HSF, every council also runs a local welfare assistance scheme, sometimes called the Local Welfare Provision or Crisis Support Scheme. These are the descendants of the old social fund crisis loans, but they are grants, not loans. They replace broken cookers, fridges, beds, and washing machines for households in crisis. A Yorkshire pensioner with a broken fridge in July 2024 received a free John Lewis larder fridge delivered within 9 days under her council's LWA scheme. No repayment, no interest. The application is usually a single online form, 3 pages long. Some councils like Wandsworth have eligibility thresholds so generous that any pensioner on the state pension qualifies. Other councils, like a few in the home counties, have made the scheme nearly invisible. Worth a phone call regardless. The phrase to use is local welfare assistance application. Officers know what you mean instantly. Number 16. The Decent Homes Standard. If you rent from the council or from a housing association, your home must legally meet the Decent Homes Standard. It must be wind and watertight, reasonably warm, with kitchens under 20 years old and bathrooms under 30. If yours is not, the council has to fix it. They do not advertise this because the bill across the country runs to billions. A simple letter, headed Request for Decent Homes Standard Inspection, sent to the Housing Department forces an inspection within 28 days. Once an officer identifies a failure, the council has a duty to remedy it. One Liverpool tenant got a full new bathroom and kitchen worth £14,800 just by sending this letter in 2023. No fights, no tribunals, no legal aid, just the right form of words, sent recorded delivery. Number 15. The Right to Repair Scheme. Council tenants in England have a statutory right to repair for what are called qualifying repairs. Things like unsafe electrics, blocked drains, broken external doors, total loss of heating, and leaking roofs. The rules give the council a fixed window, usually 1 to 7 working days depending on severity. Miss the deadline once, and you can demand they appoint a second contractor. Miss it again, and you become entitled to compensation, currently £14.85 minimum, plus £4 per day until completion. The compensation looks small, but the existence of it forces councils to prioritise your job. Tenants who know to invoke right to repair under the 1994 regulations tend to see contractors arrive within 48 hours. Tenants who phone without that phrase wait 6 weeks. Same problem, different vocabulary, completely different result. Number 14. Section 11 of the Landlord and Tenant Act, 1985. This applies to every rented home, council, housing association, or private landlord. Under Section 11, your landlord must keep in repair the structure and exterior, the heating and hot water systems, the basins, baths, sinks, and sanitary fittings, and any installations for gas, electricity, and water. They cannot pass these duties to you. Even if your tenancy says otherwise, Section 11 overrides it. A letter referencing Section 11 sent to a private landlord nearly always produces action within a fortnight because landlords know the next step is environmental health, and an environmental health notice destroys their letting prospects. A Brighton pensioner got her ancient electric storage heaters replaced in 2024 by quoting Section 11 in a single A4 letter. Cost to her, nothing. Cost to the landlord, £2,300. Number 13. Telecare Lifeline Alarms. Adult social care in every council runs a telecare or lifeline service, those red pendant alarms you press if you fall. What councils do not say loudly is that for pensioners over 75, over 80 in some areas, the service is free. No installation charge, no monthly fee, no equipment cost. The unit clips into your phone line or works over mobile. A simple phone call to the adult social care duty team starts the assessment, and the engineer fits the system free of charge. While he is there, he will often check smoke alarms, replace batteries, and flag other issues. The Sheffield service in 2025 fitted over 8,000 free systems and uncovered hundreds of unsafe electrical setups along the way. A free safety check by Stealth. Number 12. The Severe Mental Impairment Exemption. This one is genuinely shocking. If anyone in your household has been formally diagnosed with dementia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's affecting cognition, or another condition causing severe mental impairment, that person is disregarded for council tax purposes. If they live alone, the council tax bill drops to zero, permanently. If they live with one other adult, the bill drops by 25%. The diagnosis must be confirmed by a GP, and the person must be entitled to a qualifying benefit, usually attendance allowance. Yet thousands of families with a dementia diagnosis never apply because the council never tells them. A single application form, signed by the GP, can wipe £1,800 a year off the bill and is backdatable to the date of diagnosis. One Devon family received a refund cheque for £8,400 in 2024, covering 5 years of overpaid council tax. Number 11. Attendance allowance backdated. Third pattern break. This is the master unlock for older pensioners. Attendance allowance is £73.90 a week at the lower rate and £110.40 at the higher rate, paid to anyone over state pension age who needs help with personal care because of a physical or mental disability. It is not means tested. Your savings do not matter. Your home does not count. It does not even matter if nobody is currently helping you. The test is whether you need help, not whether you receive it. 2/3 of people who apply succeed on the first try, yet the take-up rate among eligible pensioners hovers around 60%. The trick is what it unlocks. Once attendance allowance is in payment, you qualify for the carer premium for whoever helps you, an extra pension credit element worth roughly £45 a week, and a council tax disability reduction. A Norwich widow applied in 2024, and her total household income rose by £218 a week. That £218 a week funded a complete bathroom adaptation within 9 months. Number 10. The Care Act Minor Adaptations Rule. Under Section 23 of the Care Act 2014, any minor adaptation costing under £1,000 that an occupational therapist deems necessary must be provided free of charge, without means testing, by the council. Free, not subsidised. Free. This covers grab rails, lever taps, raised toilet seats, half-step risers, threshold ramps, second stair rails, key safes, and even some lighting changes. The threshold is genuinely £1,000, which goes a long way in adaptations. An Edinburgh-style equivalent applies in Scotland under self-directed support. A Plymouth pensioner had 9 separate items installed in 2024 under this rule. Total cost to the council, £612. Total cost to her, £0. Councils sometimes try to means test these, and they are not allowed to. Quote, Section 23, and they back down. Number 9. The Hospital Discharge Grant and Reablement. When a pensioner is discharged from an NHS hospital, the council and the NHS jointly fund up to 6 weeks of reablement care at home, completely free regardless of savings. During those 6 weeks, the team can recommend home adaptations, and the council usually delivers them without question. This is your window. A broken handrail, a slippery bathtub, an unsafe doorway. Anything flagged by the reablement OT during this period is generally fitted at speed and at 0 cost. A Newcastle pensioner came out of hospital in March 2025 after a fall and had a walk-in shower, grab rails, a raised toilet, and a stair lift fitted in 7 weeks. Total cost, nothing. The trigger word during discharge is, "I am worried I am not safe to go home." Say it. Number 8. Age UK and Independent Age Home Visits. These 2 charities run free home visits from trained benefits advisors. They sit at your kitchen table, look at every bill, run a full benefits check, and identify every grant, allowance, and reduction you are entitled to. They do not work for the council, so they have no incentive to hide anything. In 2024, Age UK Camden ran 1,460 home visits and identified an average of £3,800 in unclaimed entitlements per household. Some pensioners walked away with £7,000 in backdated benefits. Independent Age does the same with a smaller team but deeper expertise. Booking is free and waiting times are usually under 3 weeks. Phone Age UK on 0800 6781602. They will not lecture you, they will not patronise you, and they will not leave until they have written down everything you can apply for. Number 7. Turn to Us. Most pensioners have never heard of it, yet Turn to Us is the single most comprehensive database of charitable grants in Britain. Over 3,000 separate charity funds are searchable on the Turn to US website by postcode, occupation, and circumstance. Worked in the railways for 10 years. There is a fund. Husband was a teacher? There is a fund. Husband was a teacher? There is a fund. Father was in the Merchant Navy? There is a fund. Worked as a nurse? 2 funds. Grants range from £150 to £10,000, and most do not need to be repaid. The website is free to use, the application forms are on the site, and the average successful applicant receives £1,940. A Yorkshire pensioner whose husband had worked as a Methodist minister in the 1970s was awarded £6,200 in 2025 for essential home repairs from a fund she did not know existed. Spend an hour on the website. Number 6. Royal British Legion grants. If you, your husband, or even your father served in the British Armed Forces, including national service, you are eligible for support from the Royal British Legion. The grants are not small. The Legion pays for boilers, roofs, mobility scooters, stair lifts, bathroom adaptations, and even emergency rent payments. A widow in 1944, whose husband served 2 years national service in 1956, is still eligible. The application takes one phone call to 0808 8028 080, after which a caseworker visits in person. Average grant in 2025 was £2,408. The SAFA and the Officers Association run similar schemes. A Coventry pensioner had a full new roof in 2024, valued at £8,900, paid for entirely by the Legion because her late husband had served briefly as a national service sapper. Number 5. Discretionary housing payment. Fourth pattern break. Now we are in the deeper territory. Discretionary housing payment, or DHP, is an emergency fund administered by every council to top up housing costs when something has gone wrong. The clever use most pensioners miss is this. If you are receiving housing benefit and you face a sudden housing-related expense, including emergency home repairs that affect habitability, DHP can be used to bridge the gap. A pensioner in Hull, whose boiler failed in December 2024, received £680 in DHP to cover the cost of a replacement because the council judged the cold home represented a housing crisis. The award sat on top of all her other benefits and never had to be repaid. The application is a single form, decided within 2 weeks, and refusals can be reviewed without going to tribunal. Use the words emergency housing related need on the form. Officers are trained to act on that phrase specifically. Number 4. The Boiler Upgrade Scheme. £7,500 from the government towards an air source heat pump and up to £7,500 towards a ground source heat pump. For pensioners in cold rural homes with inefficient oil or LPG boilers, the scheme is transformative. The voucher is applied for by the installer, not by you, so there is no paperwork stress. Combined with ECO4 funding for additional insulation, some pensioners have had complete heating system overhauls worth £18,000 for an out-of-pocket cost of £0. The trick is finding a reputable MCS certified installer who knows how to stack the funding. Octopus, Box T, and a handful of local cooperatives have refined the process into a single home visit. A Cumbrian pensioner replaced her 1970s oil boiler in 2025 with a heat pump, new radiators, and additional loft insulation. Total works £19,200. Total cost to her £400 for an electrical panel upgrade. Number 3. The Great British Insulation Scheme. Sitting alongside ECO4, the Great British Insulation Scheme is broader and easier to qualify for. It covers around 300,000 homes in EPC bands D to G, with no benefit requirement for many participants. Cavity wall insulation, loft top-ups, and in some cases room-in-roof insulation are all available. A Tyne and Ware pensioner in 2025 had her 3-bed semi-insulated under the scheme without producing a single benefit letter. The trigger is the EPC rating and the property value. The works are arranged by participating energy suppliers, surveyed within 21 days and completed within 3 months. Her gas bill dropped by £62 a month overnight. Stack this scheme with ECO4, the boiler upgrade scheme and warm home discount, and a typical pensioner can shave £1,500 off annual energy costs without spending a penny on the works themselves. Number 2. Disabled Facilities Grant. Fifth pattern break. Here is the big one. The Disabled Facilities Grant is a mandatory grant of up to £30,000 in England, £36,000 in Wales, and £25,000 in Northern Ireland, paid by your council to adapt your home if a disability makes daily living difficult. Mandatory means the council cannot refuse you if you meet the criteria. The grant pays for stair lifts, level access showers, downstairs bathrooms, ramps, wheelchair-accessible kitchens, widened doorways, and entire ground floor extensions in some cases. Yet, take-up in 2024 was estimated by the National Audit Office at only 38% of eligible households. Why? Because councils know each award costs them on average £14,200 of their own budget. Officers are not exactly incentivised to advertise it. The trigger is an occupational therapy assessment confirming a disability-related need. Apply through adult social care and use the phrase, "I would like a referral for a disabled facilities grant assessment." Citizens advice trainers have reportedly been told to use that exact phrasing only when asked, never to volunteer it. A Manchester pensioner in 2024 had a full downstairs wet room, stairlift and ramped entry fitted under DFG, total works £24,800, contribution from her, zero. And number 1, the trick that unlocks everything else, the occupational therapy assessment. Almost every scheme above ties back to an occupational therapist, or OT, employed by adult social care. The OT is the gatekeeper. Their assessment unlocks DFG, the Care Act minor adaptations, telecare upgrades, reablement packages, carers allowance verification, and attendance allowance medical evidence. Yet the average wait time for a routine OT assessment in 2025 was a frankly insulting 26 weeks. Here is the trick that bypasses the queue. Phrase your request not as a routine assessment, but as a safety concern. "I have fallen twice in the last month," or "I am unable to use my upstairs bathroom safely," triggers an urgent assessment within 14 days. Be honest, but be specific about safety. Once the OT is in your home, they document everything. Every grab rail, every adaptation, every benefit you should be claiming. One single OT visit in Coventry in 2024 unlocked £41,200 of grants, benefits and adaptations for a pensioner who had been struggling alone for 3 years. The OT assessment is the master key. Phone adult social care tomorrow morning. Use the word unsafe. Watch the doors open. Here is the truth nobody tells pensioners. Every one of these 25 schemes is legal, funded, and available right now in 2026. Not one is a loophole. Not one is a trick in the criminal sense. The only illegal thing about them is how rarely councils volunteer the information. Phone adult social care this week. Ask for an OT assessment. Apply for pension credit, even if you think you do not qualify. Ring the British Gas Energy Trust, even if you are with another supplier. Try one. Just one. Then come back and tell me whether the system was rigged against you or simply rigged to stay quiet. Share which trick you are going to try first in the comments. Your neighbours need to know. Because the schemes exist. The money is allocated. It is sitting there, waiting. All it takes is the right phone call, the right phrase, and the willingness to ask twice.